So this is, I think, one of the very cool parts of Fallout. I mean, in the beginning, there's lots of these cool things, right? So we're actually, this is heritage. This is heritage after the post-apocalypse.
This is a Trump kind of America.
Yeah, but it's cool because it goes like from here towards
modern day warfare, towards intergalactic warfare. I mean,
it's not intergalactic.
Not intergalactic. Well, it's not the Beastie
Boys.
Of
the moon. It's not intergalactic. It's interplanetary, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. Planetary, intergalactic. No.
I don't even know if it's planetary. It's just futuristic.
It's well, throw in the moon and it becomes futuristic, right?
Sure.
Somehow. So who are these other people that you've been killing? Actually,
they're raiders.
You're a raider too, aren't you? You're stealing things from.
No, but we're a friendly raider.
I'm getting hit.
Is that just because you are you? So you like yourself?
I'm friendly, but also because I don't kill for the sake of it. I only kill.
You're not?
Or actually, Vincent's only killing if he has to, because he got attacked.
He got shot by this guy, yeah.
I get attacked, so I shoot shit.
Oh, so it's self-defense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would say too. That's what Trump would say too.
Yeah, sure.
I missed.
Yeah, because he's behind the wall.
But I should be able to hit him still.
Nope, you missed.
You missed, yeah. You need to go.
So what do you guys think about this idea of a museum after the apocalypse? How much use do we still have for these things after the bomb has hit?
Do we have any use for
I think a museum is probably one of the most useful things post-apocalypse if you're trying to figure out what happened before and what civilization was like before, right? Because they probably have massive archives and storages and libraries and collections where you can piece back together what society was like. If you're not interested in what society was like before the apocalypse, then a museum is fairly useless except for, I don't know, maybe stealing stuff that you could sell on the black market to gain food.
Yeah. But then you depends on the museum, right?
Yeah.
Because you can see an ancient, like the Museum of Antiquities.
What's the wrong button?
What have you done?
He blew himself.
Oh no, it was the wrong. No, because sorry, Vincent actually said a couple of minutes ago, or actually maybe an hour ago, that there was no ragdoll physics in this game, but there actually is a ragdoll physics.
Yeah, but not like the running ragdoll physics, like
but you can you can actually pick up everything and throw it around.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not. I'm here. I'm not sure which button it is. There is a button.
Join or die.
But now you have to kill them all again.
That's cool.
No.
Yeah, that's you know that's why we have save games after the apocalypse.
That's why we always save.
Why can't we just save to a pre-apocalyptic time?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
just hang around in your beautiful
I
house all the time.
If I could save to the beginning, I would go in the vault with the baby in my hands, and they would not kill me because I would punch them in the face.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So I think what's actually interesting about what you just said about a museum after the apocalypse and that you can find out what happened. This particular museum we're in right now is not really objective, right? Because it is really bigging up the American view on historical events. Don't you think that in real life that's also what may happen with if you're actually going to do archaeology in a museum?
I mean, obviously, that's exactly what Ari said. It depends on the museum, right? This seems to be an incredibly patriotic museum, like how you have, you know, national heroes galleries and museums of parliament and all these sorts of things. I mean, those types of museums tell a very specific story with a specific goal, which is a very nationalistic goal in most cases. Which is what this museum is like. Which doesn't mean that you can't learn anything from it, but you just have to read it with a grain of salt and keep that in mind. But the difficulty is that you don't know that, potentially, when you come in here in a post-apocalyptic setting, and you don't really know what story this reflects, right? It would be different if you would be in a natural history museum full of fossils and animal specimens where you could do Jurassic Park type experiments with DNA and I don't know. This is a very different type of museum. So again, what the value of the museum would be depends very much on the museum, their collections, sorry, but also their narrative perspectives.
So, but this museum in particular, what do you think about this then?
What the use would be?
Yeah.
Gietricht. Is there any actual use?
Yeah, there could be. I mean, again, if you care about, you know, finding out what the world was like before, if you're one of those people who wants to, say, rebuild society.
But why would you care? I mean, you just woke up after 210 years.
I know, but say she's like, well, screw this. The world is gone. Raiders are going crazy. We need to build some cohesion, maybe, right? She could be like, look, but we all used to belong to this fantastic great nation and build some sort of community based on a nationalistic sense of pride. That's exactly what you could use a museum for.
Let's see the discussion for a second, and then we can go on that.
That mask.
That's awesome.
I've actually never seen this mask before. Maybe it's after the patch or something.
I want his weapon. Mama Murphy. Let's hope she doesn't make the new laws. Yeah.
Tough break.
That's great.
That's great, man.
Sorry.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Was that a mini nuclear explosion in your nose?
Now that's just a regular Chileanese.
So these guys are the Minutemen, right?
Yeah, these are the Minutemen, yes.
And of course the Minutemen are actually, this is a direct callback to the idea of the colonial struggle of the Americas, right? In which they fought against their British colonizers as some sort of a self-organized force, the Minutemen. And that's how they regained their freedom and made America a better place. And that must be a very strong symbol that they're playing with here.
Idea? In the museum. Want to bet? They looked up the history and they went back to their patriotic
because
roots.
first of all, there's all this talking going on, and I can't hear what's going on, and I can't read it either because the subtitles are bugged out.
Oh yeah, it's still bugged out here.
So yay, I don't know what I'm
gonna do.
That's Fallout
for you.
You say I'll help.
Yeah, I'll help. I'll always help. Of course I'll help. That's cool. It's like a Witcher contract. You can't say no to that. Yeah.
So we need a fusion core.
A fusion core.
He said basement.
Yeah.
I already have it.
Do we?
Yeah, because I picked it up from the cave.
It's almost as if you've played this game before.
Luck.
No.
No, it is.
Points in Gran.
No,
For
but he
picking it
said
up.
her luck is turning around. It's because she's lucky.
No.
Wanna bet?
It is, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Bet it's because she's lucky. Wanna
Okay,
bet
now
they
what?
call
So now
themselves
what? So now what?
Minutemen?
So now
Put the
what?
fusion core in the power armor.
What do you think? Let's go into a follow-up discussion. What do you think of getting the power armor now?
Where's the power armor? Where's it?
It's on top of a roof.
What is that? Then we must go to the roof. That is not here.
So what do you
I
guys
think-
actually think about this?
This is just... I mean, we don't have it yet because Vincent is actually struggling with finding access to the roof. But I think it's good that we find the power armor here because this is... Well, yeah, because this is actually one of the first versions of the power armor, which still sucks in comparison to the latest versions of the power armor you find in the game. So it's
I hate it that you find it right now. I it really ruined a big part of the game for me. So a little bit of background here, maybe. A power armor
I will agree.
is one of the iconic things that is in a Fallout game, right? So from Fallout 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, all the in-between games, there always was a power armor, which was like an end game item. It was on the box. It was something that if you finally got that stuff, you were just on top of the world. And now they give you the power armor, and actually they have like a little battery in it, the fusion core that we just picked up, and you just have one at your disposal all the time, except for the fact that you don't have those fusion cores available all the time. And I just ended up not using it at all anymore because I was like, yeah, I want to keep my fusion cores. So I ended up never playing with the power armor, which I think it was just, for me, this was a poor design decision.
okay. Well, for me it worked perfectly actually.
Yeah, no, I think it spoils a little bit the game having the power armor so early.
No,
It's-
I like it because I actually in the last or actually in Fallout 3, I actually never really used the power armor because I didn't actually really finish the game.
Yeah.
So I didn't got to the power armor part,
Yeah.
which was actually kind of a bummer for me because now I have access to the power armor in a very early stage, and you actually know if you play the game for a couple of hours that you actually have a very large amount of fusion cores, so you can just use them actually
Yeah.
whenever you want. So yeah, this worked for me, and also because we haven't seen this yet, but you can actually upgrade your power armor as well, and it's all
I'm gonna make a strong statement here, and I'm gonna say that giving you the power armor at this point in the game actually cheapens the heritage of the previous Fallout games, where this was such an important item.
Yeah, I think I agree on that. It's just
Okay.
because
Yeah, that's just your opinion then. I don't.
That's
agree.
just your opinion, man. Oh, we can agree to. I understand why other people would like it, but I think that as a core
Sure,
Fallout lover,
it's an
I
iconic
definitely didn't
thing
like it.
and stuff. But giving people the option to use it, earlier on in the game, it actually made more fun for me. It made the game more fun for me. So yeah, maybe screw the heritage kind of thing for the more hardcore players. I had more fun.
But we're actually not even using the power armor right now. I'm
No.
looking at the screen and we're just using our pipe gun.
But that's because Vincent actually is doing other stuff.
yeah.
Well, there you
Well,
go.
you didn't tell me where to fucking go, so
To the
I don't know.
roof. To the roof, man. Just go to the roof. I
Yeah,
don't
just
have- I
go
don't-
to the roof.
I don't have to tell you everything, right?
Well, there's no real access to the roof, is it?
There
It's
is-
like fucking
there is
collapsed
access
in.
to the roof, and it is from this floor, so you don't have to go down.
Oh, it's not like I had to go outside.
No.
Maybe
Maybe you can look at the map and see where actually.
Can I like jump and stuff?
Yeah, with a triangle.
Oh.
Don't try to jump.
Why not?
Run and jump.
Dude, this is awesome. It's gonna work.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah, well, I didn't know I could jump. There's like plenty of games where, for some weird ass reason, you can't jump.
Mm. That's true.
2 hours.
That's cool.
Almost. How's it going?
It's so I think
Well, not much is happening right now, so
Loading
how
screen,
can we
and then we're
just
coming
loading
up to
screen?
the most iconic, at least for Angus's idea, most iconic part of the actual
Yeah.
Fallout universe, which is the power armor, which Vincent just ran across and didn't see.
There you go. This is why you do
Dude, I'm
not
a
give
completionist,
such big
I
toys
loot
to play
shit,
to
alright?
somebody right in the beginning of the game because they haven't got a clue what they're supposed to do with it.
I loot shit. That's what I do. Loot.
He's like, oh, there's this thing standing there. Oh, wait, there's
So
a
is
adjustable
this
wrench in the
armor
toolbox.
powered by
Woo!
nuclear power?
Yes.
yes.
Isn't that like problematic? Why would you use the thing that is
Oh,
destroying
this is
the
pretty
planet?
cool.
Because it works.
And can I punch shit with it?
You have to pick up your minigun first.
No way.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's like
And that's why they put it in the beginning.
that's like bananas.
exactly this one.
Oh, dude.
Jump down, jump down.
Oh,
you can
jump?
jump down. Yeah, sure.
Seriously?
Yeah, yeah. You survived and then.
Alright, let's fuck this. Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah.
This
I'm
is one
sure
of the
that
toughest
that's what will
enemies.
happen.
This is one of the toughest enemies.
One of
Tell
the
that
toughest
to
enemies
someone
in
who's just played Bloodborne for the 8th, 9th playthrough.
Yeah,
Hey.
sure, but this is another game.
Ew.
What can I do? Can I like punch
Punch
it
it.
or whatever?
Punch it.
Oh,
Bop
my
it.
minigun is overheated.
Quite hot, actually.
Yeah. And you're quite dead as
And you
well.
died.
Deathclaw 1, Vincent 0.
So what is this thing? Oh, a super mutant?
No, that's.
That's
No.
Do,
No,
are
this
you
is-
seriously
No,
like?
this is something else.
Did you really not recognize that is something different? Did you?
So I think
No, but what is it?
the
It's a
Deathclaw
dark-
is actually an iguana. I think it's anyway a lizard. I think if I come correctly, it's an iguana, which is another callback to a very famous
is an iguana?
post-apocalyptic fiction book, where it's the Drowned World by Ballard. It's really one of the first books that really talked about the idea of our world being completely drowned after, in this case, an ecological event happened. And in that book, iguanas are one of those very threatening super mega species that just are trying to take over the world. And I think that's what they adapted into the Deathclaw, which is one of the iconic as well enemies of the Fallout universe and one of the most deadly ones.
So, if we're all getting a bit worried about this 3 minutes to midnight impending apocalypse that might be our own environmental fault, basically, what is it we can do? And I don't mean these how to survive a zombie attack bullshit guides, but what can we do, Doctor Random?
Doctor, I think I have a case of the post-apocalypse. Can you save me?
Yes.
I don't know. It's one of those things. So, archaeologists, of course, study collapses in the past as well. But I found it very hard always to then tell, hey, this is what we should do, because we've learned from how, for example, in Easter Island, they've done something not so very smart with their environment, and how we should then start going to think about these things. I mean, there's definite lessons in there, but translating these lessons to the issues of today, and especially with how complicated these issues are, if you think about all the actors involved here, and from nation states to NGOs to individual companies, it's just a very massive problem. The same goes with nuclear disarmament, although that maybe is a little bit of an easier out there than the ecological apocalypse that we may or may not be facing. So what can we do? Well, one of the things that I've also been chatting about with one of our people in our stream chat box is, let's keep our heads cool, right? Let's not try and be part of this media frenzy that is advocating the end of the world, and just make sure that we all do our bit to avert it without going all too crazy about it.
So, do I hear you right when you're in essence saying, don't panic?
Yeah.
Don't panic until it's too late, and then it's too late anyway.
Well, that's
Thank
very
you, that's a great
hopeful.
tip. And just read the Hitchhiker's Guide, and then everything will be alright.
But, I mean, do you think that, these Earth Hour type things, like, does that help?
Oh, you mean the doomsday clock?
No, I mean, like, Earth Hour, where for 1 hour a year people turn off the lights.
No,
and
that's
use
bullshit.
less
That's like a
electricity
smog.
and-
That's like a smog alert. And
I think
for one
I
day
think
not
this
drive.
is what in a way this helps is simply because it helps us to not panic, to have the feeling that we can actually do something about it, even
but
if
then-
the actual effects are negligible.
Is
It
this
helps
like a
it
fake
put it on the
feeling
agenda of the
control?
politicians and the other people thinking about making decisions about these issues. So in that sense, I think it helps.
Yeah, but it helps of being naive about
Is
the
it a
situation,
placebo?
right? It's you might not worry, but if it's coming, then it's coming, whether you worry or not. And if things can actually happen to avoid it, then you better worry, so you can actually act and avoid.
It's the old Pandora's box idea, right? Everything is out of the box already except for hope, and we don't know what that hope is going to be. That's what makes it so scary.
And what we know is what we see. Well, at least one of the things that archaeology has taught us, and history for that matter, is that until we completely extinct, then usually stuff happen after the collapse, right? Because we're here and we're studying the collapse, and we're here and playing Fallout. So we're even, in a sense, we are in a post-apocalyptic world because we have survived major collapses in human history, and here we're surviving a nuclear disaster, yet another nuclear disaster. So it's until the human species goes extinct, which will happen eventually, then we know that something will come up after the collapse, right?
So you're saying, even if things look grim at the moment, based on the survivability of the human species in the past, there's reason to be hopeful?
I don't think that.
I mean, we've done pretty well so far.
No, I don't think that's the right approach, and I don't think that's what we as archaeologists should try to do. What we do is we study the collapse, we study the effects of collapse, we study the reasons of collapse, and we can create time frames, we can create situation, and then as gamers or as game developers, we can implement this stuff, we can see how things react, we can simulate and model, and then there are all sorts of stuff which we can learn.
Well, let's be a bit more specific, Ares. You're studying Near Eastern capital cities, right? So the capitals of these empires that have all, in one way or another, collapsed. So we're not talking about the collapse of humans as a species, which is, of course, a very different matter, but of the collapse of a certain culture, like actually we are seeing here in this Fallout game. It's not the collapse of, it's not the extinction event, so we are still running around as human beings. We just have had a societal collapse. So pick any empire that you would like that collapsed. Well, could they have known and could they have prepared for it? And do we actually see this as an archaeologist? And can we then understand how this collapse? Is it like, oh yeah, that was evident. They should have known this.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's besides the point that should we have known this? Should we be hopeful or not? What we study, because now for us it is easy to say, oh, you should have known because it's definitely after the effect. What we know is that when we have cultural or societal collapse and society survives and humans survive, things usually change. So after the Roman Empire, we have the Empire of Byzantium, right? Which in a sense is the continuation of the Roman Empire. Or after the fall of the Mycenaean palaces in the late Bronze Age, comes up the geometric and the archaic, and eventually the classic ancient Greece. So what we see is that things change, things adapt, and humans adapt in new forms in the new environment, even if this environment is harsh. So if we say accept a theory that says that environmental causes was what caused the collapse of the Mycenaean palaces, then people manage to survive even in these extreme and harsh conditions of say 10 or 15 years of drought, of maybe earthquakes, of having massive population movements going all over the Aegean and the Eastern Mediterranean. So things adapt. It's not a matter of being hopeful, it's a matter of identifying what's going on, of identifying the processes. And then we can try to predict what is going to happen, we can try to adjust. We're never going to predict our collapse, but we can adjust, we can try and see what's going on around and not being blindfolded or being single-minded.
But also based on games? Can we learn from this game, for instance?
From this game, from games in general?
We can see that people are looking ugly after...
No, we can definitely use games exactly as blueprints of collapse. We can simulate, we can see, we can understand people's perceptions on collapse, developers' perception, and then the gaming community perception of these games. But we can actually, I think we can actually use it. We can actually use it to model stuff, we can use it to study stuff like the epidemiology thing and how people would react in this kind of stuff. Because especially epidemiology is one of those things that it's going on right now, right, with the Zika virus.
Yeah.
But in reality, in Europe or in the United States, we haven't seen in the past, say, 20 or 30 years, a huge spread of a virus. It's mainly news that have been going on like frantically about this stuff.
People are being anxious about
Like
it.
like the Ebola outbreak
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
African
In
continent.
Europe, there were extremely limited effects, but people were going out of their minds. So
Yeah.
we don't really know how people will react to an actual event of an epidemic. But in the game, we can simulate the stuff with players actually.
Well, we do know how people would react to an actual event because we do know this from the past, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is we don't only have to model this, we can actually research this.
Yeah.
So we one of the things that is very, very clear, I think, if you study collapse in the past, is that these people have no clue that they're actually part of an apocalypse. It's never, ever, at least in the past, hasn't been so spectacular as a nuclear explosion. This one moment that everything goes to hell. It's not like that. It's not like an event. No, that would be, if ever something like a nuclear apocalypse would happen, that would be new. But if you look at any sort of collapse, it's a very gradual thing, and at some point there simply is no the point of no return.
Yeah, that's
Whatever.
that's what we were
Sorry.
saying while you were down, not on Skype.
Yeah.
Exactly this thing that there is. What we have learned is that things happen gradually. We don't have, and that relates to our previous stream, right? That
Yeah.
we don't have single events. We cannot single out events and say, boom, that happened, then everything, all hell broke loose. No, it's not like that, and we know that, and that's what we study.
Right, exactly. But it's still, so for me, what is more interesting about the idea of the apocalypse and about the idea of the apocalypse in games or in media is that we can also use it to not only study the past, but also study how our society understands itself through the apocalypse.
Yeah.
So what does a game like Fallout 4 actually tells us about our society's biggest fears, about what a society like ours think is actually the truth about itself, the idea of this uncovering, right? So this uncovering is happening in Fallout at this moment that we're just having breakfast with our family. Then what happens? What is the action? Because what we're seeing now is society stripped to its bare bones. This is what society actually was all along, right? That's the point that post-apocalyptic media is making. So and that's what I think is very interesting. So maybe can we talk a little bit about what we think that a game like Fallout 4 tells us about our society itself, actually, or about how our society is looking at the 1950s in an alternative future, maybe.
I think we should wrap up with that and say
Yeah.
as a wrap up to the stream, we can see a lot of things that Fallout 4 or all these kind of games or movies for that matter can tell us for our society. Like it can tell us values. It can give us ideas of what we think is the most important thing and will persist after the collapse.
Yeah, but be a bit more specific, right? So what have we seen so far in this game? What is central? What is it actually telling us? Right? What is left after the bomb went off?
Because I think what's interesting is that on the one hand you have, the physical remains, etc. But if you look, at humankind, the people who are left, the survivors,
Yeah.
I think what Fallout is showing is that survivors fall into like a sort of probably what they think is a primitive state of being, right? A sort of very selfish state of being in which people are out for their own survival.
Yep.
And only few people actually group up, which kind of ties into our topic of our next stream,
Yeah.
which will be about, are humans
Inherently bad, violent people.
violent, yeah.
Or not.
If something like this happen, will everyone grab back
Yeah,
to
but that
a
is
violent, selfish state of being?
But that is an open question, right? So usually that's what happens, and in games where the enemy is, because here it's a situation and the enemy is human, pretty much. Like other humans are currently the enemies. In post-apocalyptic games of zombies, say apocalypse, it's not always humans who are bad, because they can act selfishly, as we've seen in series like Walking Dead. They can act stupidly, but they're not the bad guys, pretty much. And that's one of the things that usually people think will persist, like the bad guys. And the good
I
guys.
have to very much disagree with you there, Aris. I mean, I think that almost every zombie apocalypse movie, is actually not about zombies being evil and bad, or any good zombie apocalypse movie. Like from the Dawn of the Dead, from Romero onwards, it is really about how humans manage to F it up anyway, right? Because humans do stupid things because they make decisions as an ego, or just make stupid decisions. And The Walking Dead, or 28 Days Later, it is actually about how humans are their own worst enemies.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, in the end, it's the dichotomy of being good or bad, and that's one of the things that apparently we think will persist no matter what. Either being good with the good guys, or bad.
Oh,
That's a very nice statement. So
The bad guys, you meant not the zombies, but amongst people
But it's the
versus
notion.
the zombies, there will also be bad guys.
Yeah, and it's the
And
notion,
good
it's the
guys.
perception. Like,
Yeah.
we think that there are good guys and there are bad guys.
Yeah.
And after the apocalypse, there will still be good guys and bad guys, and you always lie with the good guys.
I mean, I think that Fallout actually makes a bit more of a specific point here, and I think it's done that in every single game, and I think in other Fallout games to a bit more effect. Is what it starts out with is not like good or bad. That's maybe not even that interesting, because actually there's no good or bad alignment system here. It's you have maybe certain reputations, but that's about it. What it starts out with is the idea, in this case, this game, family. So doesn't matter if the bomb goes off, family is still there. In other games, Fallout 1, 2, doesn't matter if the bomb goes off, your community, in this case Fallout 1 and 2, your vault, it's still there, and you got to look out for it. And there's this moral choice, this moral conundrum that you have to make about going out there and just enjoying life for yourself, or being there for your family. And that's, of course, one of the hard things actually about Fallout. It's an open world, so it's very hard to get distracted. I mean, we're now just running around with a couple of Minutemen instead of running around looking for our son.
That's true. There is actually a karma system employed in this game, or included in this game.
It's a karma system, but it's not good or bad. It's simply your reputation, right? So if you do shitty things to people, they will remember it as being a shitty thing. But it's not that they will say you are an evil person. They will say you are an evil person in this context.
Yeah, sure, okay, but still.
Yeah, I mean, for role-playing nerds like Aris and myself, this is a big difference.
So should we just
So let's save the discussion for the violent discussion for the next stream,
yeah,
which will happen on the 24th
4th
of
of
March.
March.
So in a month from now.
Yeah.
Month and 10 days.
Yeah, just over a month from now, but in the meantime,
The video of this stream will be up. More games we dig will be up on our website. An in-depth analysis of this stream will also be up on our website, and you should also stay tuned for our up-and-coming announcement of our Kickstarter.
Yay! Exciting times.
okay, so thank you all for
Thank you
those
for
of
being
you
here.
who have been watching, and for those of you in the future who will be rewatching.
Hello, future people.
Yeah.
You're kind of late with that. We're kind of, yeah. It's goodbye, future people.
Sorry, if you actually happen to go through the apocalypse and seeing this movie now, we didn't know it was gonna happen.
Yeah,
No.
and we are sorry.
It was Kang's fault for blowing up something he shouldn't have.
Yeah, it's all Krein's fault.
Kang is mostly sorry.
Yeah, always.
So,
Alright,
thank
so
you very much, guys,
thank you all.
and see you next time.
Later.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.